Well, the pads are on, the helmets are on, and we are now getting a better idea of what some of these players can look like come the start of the season. What is going on, everybody? Good Friday morning to you. This is Steel Sermon in the house with another video. As always, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, follow on Instagram, link in the box below. So just another video of mine, another training camp observation for the Pittsburgh Steelers as the pads came on Tuesday and the helmets were on, the shorts were on, and a couple of players that I think really stood out as far as training camp goes for the second week of it officially, and I'm just going to go one by one with it. Couple areas of improvement, I should say, but overall just a really good second week of training camp as it looks like. So starting with a little bit of an unsung hero in Hakeem Butler. Hakeem Butler doing real well with the contested catches. He had a kind of a rocky first day, but he really showed off his ability with the second teamers. And, you know, when I saw the highlights of him, he was really competing with catches. He was doing well against coverage. And he was really making a pretty good impact as far as his chances to make the roster goes. You know, with me, the Steelers, I think, have a strong enough receiving core and a good weaponry core to be a productive unit in the league, but they're just really kind of missing that one guy that is just kind of completing it together. And I think Hakeem Butler really does have a good chance to kind of be like that unsung hero kind of guy. And he keeps this up in practice. He shows that he can make the contested catches. He can compete with the passes, and he can really become like a really solid fourth or fifth string option, you know, kind of like Marcus Wheaton back in the day. So I really like what he's been doing at camp. I really like his chances to make the roster. So good job by Hakeem Butler right there. Another guy is a guy that we brought in from free agency, and I keep mentioning his name over and over again. It's Patrick Peterson. Patrick Peterson, I mean, this should really come as no surprise. Patrick Peterson, obviously a veteran in this league. He's been from team to team, and you know, it's shown that he is really making a good impact as far as these defensive backs goes. He's been moving around the defense, and, you know, it seems like that he can just go from the starting nickel and then go to safety and then to the slot, and he's really thriving in these roles, and that's just something that you love to see from a veteran, let alone a guy who is here to, you know, mentor some of the younger defensive backs that we have. So, yeah, Patrick Peterson really shining through. Another guy, another free agency pickup, Allen Robinson. Even though it was from a trade, we pretty much got him for free from the Rams, you know. But Allen Robinson really showed up last Friday with multiple touchdowns and routes from Kenny Pickett. And it's just Allen Robinson looking more and more like the veteran receiver that's, you know, going to mentor George Pickens and Deontay Johnson, hopefully, and maybe down the line Darnell Washington. So, yeah, Allen Robinson definitely putting his name up there in training camp as well. Then you got Nick Herbig, who we got from the draft. Nick Herbig, lots of expectations with this guy. Him coming across the middle, him playing that linebacker role. Is he going to make the 53-man roster? I don't know. He has a good chance at it, but as far as I'm concerned, he was doing a lot with the second teamers this week, and then he really was able to show off his ability with bending around the edge right there, and it really surprised Tomlin so much that he gave him a crack at the first team reps this past Sunday, and he dominated the line. He was winning almost every single offensive line battle that he was going up against. Now, granted, I mean, like I said from the very beginning with training camp, it's a little bit of a double-edged sword. We don't know if that means Nick Herbig is playing as advertised with what he's supposed to be, or if our O-line still needs a lot of work. because we know coming into this season, the offensive line's still an area of concern. Fixed it up in free agency and the draft, and the O-line's been busted for so many years now, but it's just really good to see that a young guy like Nick Herbig going up against guys who have been in the league, going up against guys who have experience as pro players, is making headlines at training camp like this. It really is cool to see. And it increases chances of really stepping up on that defense, being a kind of like a 2-down or 3-down guy. It really does increases chances of that. So I really like the production that Nick Herbig has been putting in with training camp over this past week. And the guy who, in my opinion, has been improving so well in training camp, and it's the man of the hour in Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett has done so well in training camp. Now, obviously, a lot of headlines around Kenny Pickett. Is he going to avoid the sophomore slump? Is he going to, be better at taking care of the ball? Is he going to cut down on the interceptions? Is he going to carry that 7-2 record he had second half of the season into 2023? Well, it's looking like some of those questions are coming in to answer. Now, Kenny Pickett hasn't been lighting it up stat-wise. Kind of like in, last year, he didn't have really good eye-popping numbers. But again, like he was a rookie, and he didn't even really play a full season. But he has shown so much growth in training camp in almost every aspect. His command of the offense just getting better and better every single day. He's audibling better. He's checking protections. Before, he kind of just was using his legs to get good maneuverability in the pocket, which, in my opinion, is a really good attribute that any quarterback should ever have. But it's not like that he's using that as his main attribute right now. He is using his legs kind of like in the same way that Big Ben did. He's using his legs to extend plays and for receivers to gain more separation and to get better routes. And we're seeing that with Kenny Pickett. And he's throwing good passes as well. Like I said with Allen Robinson, he's been nailing Allen Robinson. Something that I love to see because Allen Robinson is a veteran receiver. I don't know if he's been hitting up with Darnell Washington. I really haven't heard anything from him in training camp. But like I said, it's a good dynamic between him and Darnell Washington because you got a guy who's in his second season in the league and a rookie tight end who's going to be on the offensive line as well. He's been hitting it up with George Pickens especially because Pickens made an unbelievable catch the other day in training camp. Kind of like the catch he had against the Browns, but instead of, fully extending his body like this, he just kind of sprawled out his arm to the side like this and then just hugged it into his triceps. And it was in good coverage too with Peasy Jr. If you actually watch the highlight, the coverage by Joey Porter Jr. is perfect. But sometimes you just got to give it up to the receiver. That was an amazing catch by George Pickens. Again. And even Patrick Peterson came on and said, well, he reminds me a lot of DeAndre Hopkins. He's got his athleticism and he can make a lot of great plays like D-Hop can. When he is getting comparisons to players like that, you know that we have something special in George Pickens. And we also know that we have something special in Kenny Pickett as well when he's throwing passes like that and he's taking shots down the field. What did I say a couple weeks ago about Kenny Pickett? Throw George the ball deep. A highlight like that, let alone in training camp, is exactly why. He's diminishing the turnovers as well. He's only thrown one interception in training camp so far, and it was a tip pass that was in the rain, which is a hard play to make anyway. And he's stepping up in the pocket, like I just said, as he's hitting George Pickens and Allen Robinson deep. I really like the progress that Kenny Pickett's been making. And like I keep, badgering in about Matt Canada, the only way that he even remotely stays in Pittsburgh is that if he opens up the playbook and has George Pickens run deep routes, sure, but he gets creative with the routes as well. Not just say, here, George, run this go route. Here, George, run a straight line. Because for the millionth time on this channel, George Pickens ran the most go routes last season, and it was not even close to second place. But I love the progress that Kenny Pickett's been making in training camp, and it's just a lot of good growth and improvement and veteranship that the Steelers are having with training camp so far. And I can't wait to see some more observations from this team in training camp over the next week or so. I'll probably have more reactions coming out within the next couple of days or so. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Who do you think's been making some good progress at training camp so far in Latrobe? This is Steel Sermon checking on out for the day. Have a good one, everybody.